Two Pros and a Cup of Joe here on Fox Sports Radio, and the summer of Tire Rack sweepstakes rolls on. One winner has already been selected to win a set of 4 brand new tires, and now 2 more winners have the opportunity to win a set of 4 tires plus installation, taxes, and fees valued at, check this out, up to $1,500. Enter daily, which gets you a new entry into the contest every single day at foxsportsradio.com to boost your chances to win. 2 more winners will take home a set of 4 new tires between now and August 27th. To enter and get rules, visit foxsportsradio.com. Sponsored by TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. We opened up the show talking about Aaron Rodgers, maybe a little frustration with the way things have gone. They were supposed to practice later on today. Yeah, that ain't happening. It has been canceled. The Carolina Panthers have announced the cancellation of the practice. They cited weather and safety concerns as the reason for the cancellation, as they were set to go in and do battle at the training camp there in Spartanburg, South Carolina, at the Wofford College campus. So it's not happening. The second training camp practice will not get done, and so now Rodgers has got to wait a little bit longer to try and get the offense more in sync than they were yesterday. But one of the things that Rodgers did talk about yesterday was his thoughts on Bryce Young of the Carolina Panthers, and he's obviously shares an agent with Bryce Young. Adam Thielen is a close friend of Aaron Rodgers. He is now a member of Carolina. And so Rodgers spoke about his thoughts on the number 1 overall pick and the Panthers rookie quarterback.
I like the kid a lot. We share an agent, so I've known about him for a long time. I love watching him in college. I like his demeanor. I like his movement. I like the way he throws. I trust a guy like Adam. You know, him and I are good buddies for a long time. And he just raves about him. So I think Carolina's in good hands.
Here's my question.
And by the way, Adam and Adam Thielen, yes, I believe is who he's referring to.
Yeah, that's, in the presentation I said Adam Thielen is a good friend,
Right,
Yeah.
Right.
But here's my question for you. How could everybody be wrong? Because I haven't heard anybody who's dealt with Bryce Young, been around Bryce Young, played with, had any sort of interaction with him on the field or off the field, say anything but glowing things about him. The only thing you heard was, well, he's undersized.
Right.
Like, how could everybody be wrong in their assessment that this is going to work with Bryce Young?
I mean, again, there's things that are outside the control of Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers and all involved, right? I'm not going to, injuries are obviously one thing that can impact your career. He's been fortunate enough not to have to deal with too much of that. He, to me, is the type of player when you watch him, everyone talks about the quarterback position and, he's got it. Have you ever heard that phrase when coaches talk about, they have it? Or even maybe in a different industry, right? Even in radio. You get certain personalities, certain people, you're like, I don't know what it is. I can't describe it. They just have it. Bryce Young has it, and I think it's very easy for everyone to see what that is. They can't really quantify it, in a certain way or qualitatively, explain what exactly it is. He just is everything that you look for in a quarterback from a leadership standpoint, from the way he communicates, from the way he carries himself, from the way he plays the game. He just understands how the game is supposed to be played. And he's one of those unique talents that when you come across someone like him, they're such an outlier. They're so different from other people that you've been around, and they're so consistently that. That's the one thing that I think at the NFL level differentiates the greats from the goods, from the average to the everybody else, is their consistency at being able to display that it factor. Because we throw around that term often, and there are instances or moments where you see a guy have a great season, you see him have a great game, you see him have a great whatever it is, and you say, yeah, he's got it. I've seen it before. But the difference between guys that get to the Patrick Mahomes level or an Aaron Rodgers level or Tom Brady or whoever you want to throw in the conversation, they sustain it. They're able to consistently be at that level where you see that special uniqueness of the way they play, the way they carry themselves, the way they operate. They do it all the time. It's not like part of who they are. It's who they are. And that's why I think he is so special. It's why you saw Carolina jump up to take him where they did. I don't think there was any hesitation that it was about Bryce Young. That it's so disrespectful to the quarterbacks in this draft class. If you'd been around the other quarterbacks in this draft class, you come away and you say, that's the one that I don't have any questions about. You just look and go, okay, he's smaller in size, so what? So what? He can go win a Super Bowl. I'm telling you, I'm sure Nick Saban behind closed doors was as glowing talking about him to every team, specifically Carolina, as he's ever been for any player.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen Nick Saban during his time there, when a press conference end, make Will Anderson, who's the other player he probably spoke glowingly about, and Bryce Young both sit back down so he could publicly praise them. Like, when's the last time you saw Nick Saban do that to any football player he's ever had? Like, I remember watching that thinking, wow, like, what's he going to say? And then in Nick Saban's way, where he's always tempered with his compliments, that was like as good as it gets. That's like an outside the norm of Nick Saban doing something he's never done, where he's never overly flattered a player. He did that for Bryce Young and Will Anderson. And I think it spoke volumes about probably what he was raving about behind closed doors, even though he takes a more measured approach.
That Belichick does the same thing in talking about Lawrence Taylor. He does the same thing talking about Matthew Slater. Like, when you hear those guys who are sort of, curmudgeons or maybe don't give a compliment here or there, when they're glowingly speaking about certain players, it just means more. And yeah, Saban was all about Bryce Young and Will Anderson and
those guys don't use hyperbole, right? Like they
No.
use like they just don't ever give out compliments. Like when they say he's a great player, like they don't call everyone a great player.
They're just measured. I mean,
Right.
Saban gets a little bit more hot and bothered than Belichick does publicly, and likes to pound the podium a little bit more. But yeah, they don't hand out those sort of compliments to just anybody. And still, knowing all that and hearing all that and listening to you predict months ahead of time that Bryce Young was going to be the Heisman Trophy winner and do it at 10-1 odds at the time of your statement.
Well, he's going to win Rookie of the Year. Get it now while you still can at 5-1.
But still, I took the bait, hook, line, and sinker, that C.J. Stroud was going to go number 1 overall to the Panthers. Still, after having all that information, all that intel, and I still look like a horse's ass because I saw the betting odds move and I just assumed, oh, God, somebody must know something. C.J. Stroud's going to go number 1 overall. And it got as high as 3-1 in favor of C.J. Stroud. And now we're sitting here talking about Bryce Young looking like, outside of injury or anything else, a can't-miss prospect for the Carolina Panthers. And the betting odds would say 5-1 still not moving in the favor of Bryce Young to be Rookie of the Year. Bijan Robinson's still getting all the love there. So there's the update on your Rookie of the Year, which, by the way, I think Bijan Robinson was he the 3rd on the depth chart at running back for the Falcons?
Oh,
so maybe a little bit of trouble there, Brady Quinn in Atlanta. Maybe
no, he'll be fine the way they utilize him. It's those opening depth charts. It's like who did Mike? I think Mike Tomlin had Darnell Washington as like the 4th tight end. Which I'm like, okay, like he's gonna immediately race up the depth chart to eventually be starting for them or playing very soon in the 2 tight end sets and so forth. That's just a lot of coaches want them to earn it when they get in these preseason games and showcase the ability to do it. And then look, that's all part of the culture they're trying to create. And so there's nothing wrong with that, but you can't always believe what you see on some of these opening training camp depth charts and preseason depth charts, because that's going to change drastically once they have the final cut and you're cutting away 30 some players, almost 40 some players from your roster.
All right, so now I do have a question for you here, because in talking about Bryce Young, there is another prop bet that's out there courtesy of our friends at DraftKings.
Is this touchdown passes?
Yeah. You want to guess, or you want me to give you the number and you tell me what?
I'll guess the over-under set at 26.5.
22.5.
Oh, over. Jeez. Over.
Yeah.
I'm just, look, I know I've been overly complimentary of him. I'm just telling you, I comb through college film and you don't see players play the game like he does. He it's almost like he's got the ability to slow down time. With as poised as he is,
Jesus.
The way he's I know it sounds like he's like a superhero, but I've never seen a kid be so poised and be able to play the game and then move quickly but reset and make throws into windows that you're like, my God, he made that look so easy. And it is incredibly difficult. He's a special talent.
Yeah, so that's the feeling there. So you heard it here first. And again, this is somebody who called it at 10-1 Heisman Trophy winner months before it happened, watching an Alabama spring game, and we're telling you 5-1 you can get Bryce Young.
What's the odds for the Panthers to go to the playoffs? That has to be plus odds right now, right? It's like 3-1.
Efforting here. Just efforting here. We are formulating the numbers because we go by calculations.
That's right.
There's a lot of.
Well, do you want to type in some of that so while you're doing this you can?
Well, I don't understand. I mean, listen, I have it right here. I mean, okay. Because there's a lot of we have got pages and pages of research here that we have done. We're old school on this show. We don't care about trees. Screw your trees. We'll cut them down.
You can't recycle that.
Yeah, we'll cut them down and use the printer and print all this stuff out. The odds for the Panthers to make the playoffs, yes, is plus 205. No is minus 245. So 2-1, baby, on Carolina making the playoffs.
Take it. Take it right now. Take it right now.
So we are all in on the Carolina Panthers. And if this season goes awful for them, this entire segment was deleted from the podcast. And
it won't go awful for them. It'll be better than what it's been in the past. What were they, a 7-10 team last year?
I don't even know. And furthermore, who cares? But we care now. The Panthers are back.